Hello, my name is Dom Fawcett. I want you to join Lauren, myself, Todd, Jason, Danny, and so many other speakers at the Power of We Symposium, April 28th in Chicago. I've done it 1 year. This is my second year doing it. It is going to be a game changer. Again, my name is Dom Fawcett with Think React League out of Arizona. I look forward to seeing you in Chicago at the Power of We Symposium.
The Power of We was a way of inclusion, a way of inviting anyone who needed or wanted a place to belong.
It was just very clear to me that this was something that would really benefit the young folks right here.
And to be able to give them a different perspective, that I know where they come from, I know what they're experiencing because I was there too, and letting them know that there's different actions that they can take that'll lead to a different destiny.
We really needed to hear that. In order to change our community, we needed to hear that.
And they are inspired to invest in making it happen. That's powerful.
Good morning. Wait a minute. I'm getting a hat started falling off the hat mountain back there. And I decided to forego my traditional hat and opt for a colorful nylon weave, as I refer to her as. Hey. So anyway, yeah, you see I have on red, white, and blue, and usually that's my birthday week. Born on the 4th of July. But we're nowhere near the 4th of July, so what's up with the red, white, and blue, Lauren? Well, you got to have it on when America's SuperMom is in the house, because she flew in with a cape on, and I mean, everything is red, white, and blue. I almost said except for her teeth, because then she goes, what you trying to say? My teeth yellow? No, her teeth are even white. So everything is red, white, and blue when you got America's SuperMom. LaChelle Adkins is back, y'all. Remember her? It's our own version of the Black Dugas. You remember that family? Right. 15 cheering, as my granny would say. She got 15 cheering. Yes, she does. And man, she makes it look easy. But anyway, before we get SuperMom, LaChelle Adkins, and again, happy Friday, TGIF to all of you. I'm so excited you're here. Why? Well, because we are. We are the reason there is a promise that tells us that when 2 or more of us comes together, when we have that same mindset, that heart set, that soul spirit, if you will, that we are here to get it done, here to change this world one illuminated conversation / story at a time. Guess what? That's exactly what happens. That's the Bella Purpose. Y'all know about her. She is here to remind us all that, first of all, that bell is not some gimmick. It's not some show prop. It's an opportunity. It really is. It's a reminder. Just like when you hear the bell ring, guess what? The truth has that same ring. And when I hit the bell, it means that something's out here, y'all. Back up that car and take some of this goodness with you. The truth will set us free. Can I get an amen? There it is. So, update. They are here. We are making it through. Today will be our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5th day. So what? I count on my fingers. I sure do. And I don't know how to tie my shoes right. I use 2 loops. And I'm just saying. Okay. All right. I might need some therapy for all that. I'm married to one. Nope. Not going to do it. So listen, they're here. Bedroom, the primary bedroom and bathroom. Because remember, I just learned the other day not to say master bedroom anymore. Not to say master bathroom. They said it's racist. I did not know. And it was some white people who told me. I was like, for real? They were like, yeah, that's attached to slavery. The master's bedroom. I was like, what? And they tricked it right on past us. They were supposed to say the master bedroom and the master bathroom. We'd have caught on if they'd have done it like that, old tricksters. Yeah, well, it's now primary. The primary bathroom and bedroom are they've been demolished. Now they're turning it into something wonderful. Okay, Power Week Symposium. Hi, everybody. I got to do it. Whew. Whenever you do an event, if you haven't already, then if you have, you know what I'm talking about. I don't care how many weeks or a couple months ahead. As soon as you start converting it from months into weeks, it's like you wake up and you're like, why I feel like something watching me? What was that? That's that event. Dum, dum, da, dum, da, getting closer and closer. I tell you what, if you don't know Jesus, stage an event. You'll find him. Trust me. Because you'll be like, oh, Lord, please, Jesus. You call every name for him in the book. I know I do. But I don't have to worry. That's just the human me. Because the spiritual me already knows that where we come together, y'all never let us down. Power of We, April 28th here in Chicago at the beautiful Stan Mansion down in Logan Square. Wonderful things are happening. I'm going to just say this. If you haven't seen the show Queens, not movie, the show, television show Queens, get in there and watch some of it. They just wrapped a couple weeks ago. Some of them are going to be, you'll see, just show up. You'll see. It's just going to be great. Wally Green, the United States table tennis ambassador, will be in the house. Tanya Wiley Brown will be in the house. And, I have pictures I showed y'all of her with the Supreme Court and all these just wonderful people all coming with one intention, and that is for us to pour into 250 of the greatest kids from the hardest hit areas of this city. We're going to love up on them. We're going to pour into them. But most importantly, we're just going to lay back, sit back, and let them pour into us. Young people need to be heard, y'all. They got voices. This is their world. They're inheriting everything that we messed up. You see what I'm saying? And all the great things that we've created for them. So come on and be a part of the Power of We Symposium, April 28th. If you need more information, drop it in. Sherry McQueen, she'll be here. She'll be able to help you get to whatever it is you need to make sure that you're a part of this wonderful event, April 28th, the Power of We Symposium. So, did I print LaChelle's bio? Because all I got to do is look for where's that thing with 12 pages on it around here? You think she did a page for every kid? Can you imagine? Anyway, I'm going to show you better than I can tell. Let me just get her in here because I just love her. Get ready, you guys. She's been here before, but she's here again. Here she comes. America's Supermom, LaChelle Adkins. Put some love on the screen, y'all, right now. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning, Supermom.
I am so glad to be here. You know what? I just love the laughter. Okay. I am always laughing
No.
when I'm in your company. You are hilarious. I just love the energy, the spirit. It's just a lot of fun.
You're
And
so
this is
sweet. I sure hope NBC, ABC, CBS, I could go on and on, but I won't. You get the point. I hope they see it one day because I'm trying to get from out of this basement.
I feel you.
You know
But
what I'm
you know,
saying?
look, I'm feeling like I'm in the company of a celebrity with all that stuff behind you. I'm like, wow.
Girl,
You
I
know,
don't know. You're
it's
so
quite a
crazy.
come up
We're
from the
not
last
here. What you talking about? I don't know what you. Oh, I was just trying to fan. Really, let me turn around. Oh, wait. I'm just playing. I'm playing. Dang. No, but thank you. You know, I humbly accept that, and I thank you. And I'm gonna just say something. My weave. Hold on, can't get my weave. Right.
Okay.
I'm on my edges messed up. I just want to say though, you know, when you were saying this before we got started, when we were backstage about all that celebrity stuff, you know what? It's so interesting how, and I didn't really get it until I went to out to Hollywood for the shoot for the Heart of Hollywood magazine, and we had a tour, and all these people came running up off the street. I'm like, who y'all think I am? Because I ain't him. Right. Y'all don't know me from Adam. But it's just, you know, those things sometimes when you're thinking, oh, I want to be this or I want to do that. And then when you get there, it's not at all about that outside
right.
people see. It's
you
find things on the inside that just put you right where you belong in a most humbled place. Because you know, there ain't no way I could have done this. This has to be something greater than myself.
Amen.
Wow, what a wonderful place to be. So that's what it's truly all about. But I can say the same thing about you. First of all, we always want to know, because every time I tell Brian, you're coming, my husband, guess who's coming on the show? You go, you think she's pregnant again? I'll just play.
No.
Hey, you never know now. Look at Janet Jackson.
It is. I know. It's so crazy. Yeah. And my husband, he still says, you know, you sure you don't want another one? I mean, yeah.
Did you punch him dead in his mouth? I'm serious. Ain't wouldn't nobody have blamed you. The police wouldn't have took you. Nothing. They would have said, boy.
It was so funny because we went out and met some people. Have you been on Clubhouse?
I'd go on there as a fly on the wall. I like to listen.
Okay, well, we met some people from Clubhouse, and we had dinner here locally, and they just watched us, and they said, oh, look at her. She just lets him do all the talking so that she doesn't have to worry about having any more kids. So we just laughed, you know, because they said she gives him all the attention he wants when he's out. Okay, so
that way he ain't getting no attention at home. So tell the truth, though. And spite, what's that saying? The old people like, tell the truth and spite the devil. So so wait a minute. If he asked that seriously. Yeah. Now, if you wanted another one, would you have another one?
If I wanted one, you know, I just feel like I'm in a better space right now to be more of a leader and influencer. You know, there's something about when you're having kids, you just kind of lose your mind. Okay. You forget about, you know, it's that nurturing. And I'm not saying that I don't love to nurture my kids, but it's now a different space where I realize that, you know, I'm an influencer with them. And in some cases, you know, they think they know more than me, but I'm just in a better space to be able to recognize the purpose that I have in terms of training them up and really appreciating it, you know, because I started young. And so now that I'm 51, okay, soon to be 52.
Okay.
It's just a different, you know, it's just a different chapter.
Well, you think? You know, I will say this though, you might want to check into this because it is a real thing, and I hear they give out some good prizes. But the current world record for ass whoopings in one family is 2,413. I bet you beat that.
Oh, probably.
I bet you done beat. Let me ask you this: how many whoopings have been given in that house on one given day? How many different people got a whooping on the same day?
I can't even tell you. I mean, who really counts when you're in that mode sometimes? You know, you really, and to me, I think it's not always physical. You know, there's just the verbal things that you could say that can get them in line just as well. Or, you know, the time, you know, like
For instance, this
just
one?
yesterday, I got somebody's phone. You see what I'm saying? So it's all different kinds.
Oh, you got them where got it right where you can see it. Ain't no sneaking in here, stealing the phone, hoping I forgot.
Exactly. Okay.
So when you say
it
you
comes
verbally,
different ways.
when you say when you just said verbally. So how many times have you used this verbal one? Because I know us of color have heard it. I heard it many a time. Oh, you say you ain't gonna do it. You do realize I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out. Remember that?
Huh? Yeah, I remember that. Actually, my mom didn't really say that to me, so I didn't really say that to my kids. But I've heard it. I have a lot of aunts that have that philosophy. It's very familiar. I mean,
one more thing. Say one more thing.
Says, they say one more thing.
Shut your mouth. Like if you even do
really, and I never did that counting thing. That didn't work for me.
What was the big thing in your house? Timeouts.
No, I had a wooden spoon. That was another thing. My kids just reminded me of that. So the little wooden spoon you cook with. Yeah, I would take that with me, carry it with me everywhere. Yeah.
Oh, they see the spoon come out. It ain't dinner time, huh? It ain't dinner time.
Exactly. Because sometimes you can't get to them. Like I would have a group of them with me. So I couldn't, I wasn't chasing, it's like, give me your hand, smack. I mean, that really did some stuff.
So before we get into it, because I got some questions. Tell everybody where you're at in the world, properly introduce yourself, American SuperMom, and talk about a little bit about your platform and why you would have thought you would have been finished with all kind of mom stuff at midnight, but then at 12:01 you don America SuperMom outfit and keep it moving. So talk about how you got to this and how you use the life you live on a daily basis in order to serve others.
Amen. Well, first, I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, Lauren. I love your platform and all the awareness that you give to people that are doing great things in the world. But as you said, I am America's SuperMom, mother of 15 children, and my platform is really around mental wellness. So during my journey,
better be 15 cheering.
Yes. So during my journey, I struggled with this. I was dealing with depression for 13 years. I was hospitalized 3 times. And now I am on the mission of really empowering moms and women with the strategies to live life with a smile instead of stress. I think if we have the right tools, we can definitely begin to navigate through life, not feeling that life has to be perfect, but willing to be able to rise above all the obstacles that we face and do it successfully. So that is really my mission. I'm an author, a speaker, TV producer, podcast host, any platform that I could use to raise awareness about depression, about ways that we can overcome it. Just sharing my story and testimony, I am there for doing that. So that is what I am doing in the world. And I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission now to collaborate with Oprah Winfrey and Jimmy Fallon on this platform.
Did I tell you how attractive those glasses are and how I've always considered you a sister? So tell me more about Oprah and Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I feel
like enough about you. Let's talk about.
Yes, I feel like right now, especially, a lot of people are attuned to the emotional damage that has been happening with this pandemic. We've had youth that are struggling with their mental wellness, just people from all walks of life. And it's been the one common denominator that many of us can have compassion and empathy about. And I believe that both of them have great platforms to be able to educate everybody about ways that they can overcome it. I think, we talk about food and how it's necessary, but, your mindset is just as important as the food you put in your body, because that really can dictate what you do or don't do, how you lead, your attitude, how you feel, how you represent others, just being able to think and have clarity. All that is around our mental wellness. So I believe that I can collaborate with them. I don't want to just meet them, shake their hand. I want to work on a project with them.
Okay. Now let's go. Okay, let's go on in there. Since you done cracked the door to the room and let us peek in there, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the 3 times that you were led to being hospitalized, because I'm sure it wasn't like having a stroke, you standing there 1 second and then next minute you laying on the floor. You see what I'm saying? Depression eases in. That's what it does. So talk about, because you were no stranger to the hospital, clearly. So they started coming. Wasn't she just here having a behind you? How many months it's been? And then you were there for something totally different.
Right.
Now, let's talk about how that happened and all that comes with it, because I can only imagine that you dealt with guilt and everything, because while you're there, all them cheering is over there.
Exactly.
What does it mean? Have I bitten off too much? Talk about what you have found led to it, and was it because of the size of your family, or could it have happened if it was just you by yourself?
Right. Those are some great points that you're bringing up, and I think a lot of it had to do with my upbringing. So I was an only child, high achiever, did good in school, followed the quote unquote pathway to the American dream up through getting my college degree with a degree in marketing.
Okay.
And so had met my husband in college. Before I finished that degree, we were married, had a baby, and the rest is history with all the children that we had. And I believe that upbringing gave me a mindset of scarcity, of competition more so than collaboration, people pleasing, seeking validation outside of myself, because my whole career that I knew it academically was about being recognized for my achievements and always getting attention for doing something right. So I really didn't know how to ask for help. The trajectory of where I was with having a lot of children, no one could identify with that. And so I didn't have an example. My mom was one of 12, but she only had one. She was an entrepreneur and she was focused and driven with a great work ethic. But that just didn't serve me when it came to figuring out how to navigate as a mom and then a stay-home mom, because I just didn't have that experience. So as an only child, I was always in extracurricular activities. I was in a pom-pom all through from middle school through high school. I mean, I just didn't have any training being in the motherly role, from cooking to a number of things.
Right, because you didn't have any siblings to take care of or any of that. How interesting, though, LaChelle, that your mother had, 12 there, the big number, double digits. Then she said, I'm gonna break this wreck. I'm gonna stop this, right? Generational curse or whatever. She's gonna stop that and have one. And then here you come picking it back up. So she really, because of grandkids. So I think it's so interesting, her mindset of that was purposeful. To only have did that on purpose. But then what does she say about, or what did she say when she started inheriting all these grandchildren? When did she still have the one mindset, or did she like open back up to, I love these big groups?
Yeah, she actually took it really hard. So it was not until maybe my 8th pregnancy that she was able to embrace it. Every pregnancy.
That don't even sound right.
It was she went in the morning.
My 8th pregnancy. Girl, and that barely half, right?
And she went in the morning. Every time she would find out that we're having another baby, she would just get really depressed, and she would not really talk to me. It was like, we're consoling her, trying to figure out if she's okay. It was crazy. But
what do you think that was?
Well, her parents got divorced when she was a teenager, and so my grandmother passed away at the age of 50. And so she just felt like, man, if something happens to you, I'm not going to be able to take care of the kids by myself. She just had this vision that, our marriage wasn't going to last or whatever, because that's what
you're going to end up moving in here with me with all them kids.
Exactly.
I don't wanted that many kids. I'd have had them myself.
She had a lot of fear. And so she really had a rough time with it. Now, she would always be there for every birth. She would stay, make sure the transition was well for every one of them. But, we would go through that period. When are we going to tell her? We would hate if the kids told her before me. I mean, we had to make sure she was in the right space. It was crazy.
Well, how about this one? How in the world, when you and your husband said, well, let's go out to dinner tonight, Well, you want to go see that movie? How many babysitters did you have to hire for all them kids? Because you know it. One ain't gonna do it.
You know, we actually, the kids, because of their age, they're all stair step for the most part. Once we really got out to doing a lot of things outside of the house, they were the babysitters. You know, so that made it nice. It was built-in babysitters. Even now, we've got that going on.
So how many
that
kids
never
are living at home?
an issue. We just have 10 now.
At home?
Yeah.
Wait, do you see what I'm saying? Do you know
they come back? Okay, they come back.
But do you know how you sound? You say, "Oh no, I know I have 15 kids, but only 10 are at home right now." So, how many refrigerators do you have?
We just have 2.
Just
a deep freezer. Yeah.
And I know it's deep. How deep? About 14, 15.
Yeah,
15.
one of those big. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what about, okay, let me ask you this. You know, now that the war is here and whatnot, you guys out there, you've heard me talk about it, and I've even showed pictures, I think as recently as yesterday. The grocery basket from 2 weeks ago, I went shopping. It was double what it was the month before. Went from $250 to $500 for basically the same thing, except for a little alcohol I had in there. But what about, and I get concerned, LaChelle. I think about our elderly people on a fixed income during this time. You know, gas is up, the prices are up for food. And then people like you, or say those families that are on assistance, SNAP program, food stamps, the benefits don't increase, the stomachs of the children don't shrink. But what you can do with the money is like this. So talk about some of those times during, because I'm sure you've experienced this with inflation and things change in the world. How was it? And then maybe some of this will lead into those 3 hospitalizations. But how did you deal? Because you know the mama, so many things fall to her.
Right.
So many things. The kids come to mama first.
Yeah.
Things. How in the world?
Yeah, you know, I think I believe that God doesn't put more on you than you can bear. That's the promise. But it is really, it's your mindset. You know, I mean, we think that, things are getting expensive, but it's based on our desire to have a certain lifestyle. You know, you can go get a couple loaves of bread, some peanut butter and jelly, and that's a meal, right? But we want the steak, we want the chicken, we want all these other things. And so we have grown accustomed to having that every day rather than that being a luxury. And for some people that work and, they're able to do that, that's fine. It's based on what you choose. And one of the things that I always have an option of some noodles or peanut butter and jelly or cereal. Those are like the 3 staples.
Okay.
When I cook, if you don't want that, those are your options. You can make it yourself. You don't need me in the kitchen doing that. This is something you can be self-sufficient with. And I think always having that balance is important because it's about having good food. It's not about having sometimes what you want. And so my kids understand that with having a number of them, that every day you're not going to have on the menu what you want to have on there. And that's just how it is. But what are you going to do? It's not all about having what you want. It's about making sure that you have a healthy meal option at the table.
Yeah. And so many of the things change as the kids grow and go out and then the new ones come in. But one thing I can think of that stays pretty consistent is Christmas. No matter where they're in the world, you still have 15 kids to buy for. How early do you start shopping for Christmas for 15 children?
The earliest is 2 days before Christmas.
Earliest? Girl, what'd you do? Get
2 days,
M&Ms
2 days before Christmas. Yeah. That's the earliest. We usually shop Christmas Eve, my husband and I.
For everybody?
Everybody. We do not get a Christmas tree. We haven't had a tree in 25 years. And my husband's in the ministry. So that was just like something that happened along our journey where he just felt led not to have a tree. So we stopped having a tree. But we have always just given them 3 gifts, like the 3 wise men. We hadn't really focused a lot on Christmas. The big deal for us is their birthday, because that's the one time where they can be individuals and we can really pour into them. But yeah, we do. We put their names in a hat for the kids for themselves. and they draw out one name. We have a limit of what the gift should be,
Okay.
and they buy for each other. But we give them 3 gifts, and that's it. No stress.
Wow. 3 times 15. Somebody figure that out.
Yeah, it's still a lot of gifts, though.
It's still a lot of gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk about the more important gifts. For instance, attention when a child needs it. Or, you know, not always do they come up and tug on mommy's hand and say, mommy, mommy. Sometimes as they get older, they start move things, you know, they hold it in, but you have to be the one who notices something's a little off about that one.
Exactly.
How yeah, you know what I'm asking.
We just had that experience. My father-in-law passed in September, and we had one of my daughters, she's 22. Thank you for that. She didn't handle it well at all. She ended up being in a behavioral hospital for almost 3 weeks. And she now is doing good. She's on medication, but really dealing with some depression. You know, we're working through that. And, you know, I think it is, you have to be present. You know, so often we have so many things that keep us distracted or in denial. I just heard about this term the other day. I did an interview, but we can distract ourselves with things or we can deny them. And so when we're in that space, we don't see anybody else, right? We just keep on going, pretending life doesn't, it's going to fix itself and all this stuff if we don't think about it. And we have to be honest and tell the truth about a lot of things so that we can work through those issues. So I think they happen every day, right? I think we need to reflect on a daily basis. And that's something that I have learned over this past year on Clubhouse. I have a co-founder of a club that we have, and we call it the Elephant Strategy Club. Okay. And so every day we talk about the elephant in the room, and every day that elephant is different, you know, about how we can start facing some of these hard truths and what's the strategy going to be to do that. And it has really helped me to grow, as well as the people that we've been interacting with.
Sure. Now, COVID. Suddenly, we are cast beneath masks. Right. We are pushed into what is known as social distancing. All the other things, the fear and the unknown and all of that. Now, you have, and I immediately started fearing for my family members. You know, like, especially, you know, we did, our elderly and everybody. How was it? How did you guys fare through, you know, the hardest parts of the COVID-19 pandemic? Anybody contracted? And did you ever have to, tell how that was?
We actually had, when my father-in-law passed in September, we went to Indiana. That's where his services were. We were with all of my husband's family, and we got home, and he got COVID. And one of our sons, who is 27. So those two had it. And then we're working through this time with my daughter being in the hospital and all this stuff. And then when he got over it, then I caught it. And 2 of our boys caught it at that time. So pretty much everybody in our household has caught it, except for our 3 youngest children. Everyone has had it. And so we've had a very mild case. No respiratory issues. It was really kind of like sinuses for a lot of my children. We thought that they had a sinus cold or something. And that's how it showed up for them. When I had it, it was 6 days. I didn't lose my taste or smell, and no fever, just a little tired. But other than that, I can't complain.
So how did you guys decide as a family, or was it an individual choice, whether to be vaccinated or not? I find that very interesting, because we know families, we talked about this during the holidays, you guys remember, how a lot of us, including us, because we host Thanksgiving, we're like, nope, not this year. And there were families who did, but there was a vaccinated house and there was an unvaccinated house, and the kids and stuff played via Zoom or whatever, you know. How did that play out in your home?
Yeah, you know, we just believe God. Okay, so we just accept everybody. And I think, you know, that's one of the things about your faith. You know, it is tried and tested during these times, because it's not so much what other people say, but it's what your interpretation of that is.
Mm.
So I believe just, we're very inclusive. Now, we did have to have church virtually because we honor other people's decisions on what they think is best for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can't force people. It's one of the things I learned very early in my Christianity that, I barely can control me, right? And when I read that Bible every day, it's beating me upside the head about some stuff I'm falling short in. So how can I, expect somebody else outside of me and dictate what they do? I just trust God and let that be the case. So I think it's really, being clear about, understanding that everybody can do what they want. They can control whatever they feel they want to control. But how are you going to respond to that? And I believe, that we can embrace and accept everybody for whatever decision they try, that they believe is right for them. So even though we wear masks, I mean, I'm still a hugger. I mean, I have never stopped being who I am because of this virus.
Sure.
I feel like there's probably more viruses before COVID that we even knew of, and we just all up in people's faces with no mask. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So I don't let that be a guide for me. Yeah.
Okay, I love that answer. So let's talk about those things that are some of the very first things that families think about when they're starting a family. For instance, an educational fund. We need to start a college fund for the baby. Now, goodness, girl, it's hard enough with one or two. But so how did you handle that piece of the pie?
Yeah, that's just, to me, that's fairy tale mindset. I think it's good. Don't get me wrong, because if you can, that's fine. But I think, with the dynamics of our family, we really equip them with the ability to know their skills and to walk in them. We try to nurture their gifts from a very young age. We have a son who's 13 that's really into robotics. He has his own computer. He gets on it doing all kind of stuff. I mean, he can do websites and logos and all that. And so I think, the education that we allow and pour into them from a young age helps them to foster and build towards whatever that looks like for them. We have a daughter now who she has working on her second graduate degree, she's now getting her master's in business administration, but she got her graduate. She went to undergrad and went to graduate school at University of Miami, and she graduated with public health and safety,
Right.
and now she's doing business administration. So they all kind of have that knowing about what is best for them, and they're willing to do what work is necessary to accomplish it.
Very
I had
independent
two
kid.
daughters. Yeah, they're 21 and 19. They just got a lash certification, because they're always going to get these individual lashes. I'm like, this is crazy. $85 to get some lashes put in that last for a couple weeks. Yeah.
You talking about eyelashes?
Eyelashes.
Girl, you better wear the ones God gave you. Put some Maybelline on there.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
But that's their thing. They invested in themselves. They got certifications, so now they can make money doing what it is that they want to do. So I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better than that, because it is hard. I mean, we definitely are a non-traditional thinking family. When it comes to having our own business, doing things that are not traditionally minded. And the way that we do that is we do have an idea that, hey, it's all about faith and what God calls you to do. And yeah, you need to store up in your storehouse, but sometimes that's not an option. But are you going to let that stop you from doing all that God's equipped you to do?
Right. So before we get into those 3 hospitalizations, because I want people to really hear your message about depression and not getting around it, digging from underneath it or climbing over it. I believe that's wall talk, but everything that we live through purpose is an opportunity. So that means that it's a window or a door, because God knows that if we can see in, we'll have more ability to find the courage to go in. And if you go in, you have a chance to get through back out the back door. And that's what it's really all about. So we want to touch on that. Last question about all these cheering. So how does it work? Do you know what the most cars have been at one time that were permanent residents at your house at one time? How many cars?
I haven't even thought about that. But we do have a lot of cars, yeah.
So got me blocked in.
Yes.
And how come I can't put this in the garage?
And it's so crazy because we have we live on almost 10 acres. So we have a big open field that's near, right next to our house.
Well, that's the parking lot.
Yeah. And we still have people that are blocked in, because we live where there's no street lights. So we have a long driveway. So that's a pave, but then we have grassy areas. Well, everybody can't be by the door. So if they work late or get off and it's dark and there's no street lights, they want to be close to the door. So they'll just park behind somebody on the paved part. And then in the morning, when we have this whole thing of people got to go places, you're ready to go out the door. And it's like somebody has you blocked in. So yeah, we still have that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And do laptops, phones, and the such, are they passed down like genes and stuff where the younger ones get somebody's phone when they get a new one, or they get the old laptop, or how's that work?
No, everybody's got to have their own. And that's the thing. I'm like, hey, why can't we just repurpose this stuff? But they don't do that. They want to have their own thing. So everybody, we've got different game systems that are the same game system, but they don't want to share. They're like, Mom, we share all the time. We want our own stuff. So that's crazy to me.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So they're willing to buy their own stuff or save up for it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. That's like running a company.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is.
Yeah.
So, LaChelle, where were you in the birthing line as far as the kids? How many kids did you have when the first depression started rearing its ugly head? Do you remember exactly when that was?
So my last hospitalization was 2016. So
wow.
When that happened in 2016, that was the head of 13 years of depression. Okay.
Wow. So that was a splinter that finally came.
Right. So it was like 2003. And that was my daughter Olivia was the first one that I experienced this depression with. And I actually was pregnant with her during this episode that I had. So I was hospitalized for the first time with her. And once I found out that I was pregnant, they advised me to abort her. They were like, well, you've been on this medicine and all this stuff, and we're not sure. And yeah, so I was like, no, that's absolutely not happening. So when I found out, I totally got off my medication. And, it was a process getting back to where I needed to be. But each of my hospitalizations, I actually didn't seek intervention. My husband did. So he was the one that noticed, something's not right, over time, because I was on autopilot. I just had this mindset that, suck it up, ignore what's going on and keep it moving, because if he's not available and the kids need to be tended to or whatever's going on, just keep doing it. Right. So I really neglected a lot of self-care. I didn't really have boundaries. No real routine for myself outside of being the person that cares for everybody else.
Yes.
So that was the issue with that.
That's what I wanted to get into, because it's like self-care is so important and hard to find, even if you don't have any kids. We don't have any.
So true. So true.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
What were you not doing then that you are doing now?
Absolutely. So first thing was waking up and filling up my cup. See, I was waking up depleted and didn't realize that. And then I was still giving, I just had a history of starting things and not finishing them because I would drop them when somebody called or needed something. I never really had that, and I was telling myself I was a failure. So although it looked on the outside like, man, your kids are getting to school on time, they're making good grades, all these things were checked off the box. But I was feeling like a failure because, you know, I grew up being a high achiever. So when I wanted to do something, it was done. So when I figured out I have these things on my list, why am I not getting these things accomplished? So while everybody else is giving me compliments, I'm telling myself I'm a failure because I know what I want to do every day and I don't accomplish that. And so that's where it began. It was my own bullying to myself that was going on because I wasn't living up to be the person that I knew that I could be. I was really overwhelmed and feeling like I would just could not make another day. But I didn't know how to ask for help. I just thought
I was just going to say, they
say be better. Yeah.
Yeah, they say that's one of the number one issues with high achievers is that they have a real struggle asking for help.
And then you don't know what you don't know. You know, I'm coming from being an only child. So when my kids are arguing, right, and doing stuff that siblings do, I'm internalizing that. Okay, must not be doing something right. How could they be talking to each other like that? You know, and then I'm internalizing that. My husband's at work, he's not around. I don't have any kind of, what's the word? Someone that has some sense, right? Because I'm dealing with, and not to say that your kids don't, but it's like, you know, an ally that can calm me down or pull me off the ledge and say, look, this is normal or whatever. I didn't have that. So I'm internalizing these things and it's keeping the building and building and building. I mean, when he gets home, I'm not going to be thinking, oh, you know, earlier today, the kids were arguing or whatever. And I kind of internalize that. You don't even know, you just go on and whatever's the time now. But what I do now is I fill my cup up first thing in the morning. So it's all about waking up, getting what I need before I get my kids up.
See, so my cup runneth over, not my cup runneth out.
So true.
Can't let your cup run out.
And I think embracing who I am, you know, like before we push record here, you know, we were having issues where you didn't hear me. And I am so comfortable in what I know I can't do. Right. So you're looking and I'm like, hey, I'm
like, right. And I checked it out because usually when and it was my fault, I hadn't turned something on. But usually when I go, I can't hear you, the person automatically goes into panic mode, looking for chords and, you know, and you were like, I was like, oh, you just don't care, right? And then I started glancing around, I was like, oops. And that would really stuck out to me because Jason Cisneros, who is one of my greatest friends and mentor, you know, Jason, he said, he always told me back when I used to lose it, I mean, just angry black man and, you know, bad. And he said, Lauren, you're in a different vehicle now. You may have been riding in a blue box car or whatever before, but now you're the pilot of the plane. If the plane is in turbulence, who's the one person on there that needs and must stay calm for the sake of everyone?
Exactly.
You. And that really changed it up for me. So back to how you are today. So do you have a process now, something in place like a spiritual or a mental wellness ADT system, if you will?
Yes.
That protects you from yourself.
So true. So that is the SMILE acronym that I have. And this is really the 5 areas that I noticed in my own life that I was lacking during that time with depression. So, and it's a proactive approach, you know, every day for you to examine where you are with these. So the first one is sleep. Okay. Are you sleeping 7-8 hours a night? The next is your mood. You know, it's okay to kind of be in a mood, but if that mood is really taking over your days, you know, your nights and all that, that's a problem. The next thing is your inner voice. So while other people may be complimenting you, but what are you saying to yourself, right? Because we seek this validation, but when we hear it, you know, it's not really having an impact because what I was saying to myself was louder than what other people were saying to me. Okay. And then the last thing is laughter. I mean, that's not the last one. So laughter is next to the last. And that's about really learning how to embrace who you are, right? And being able to have fun and laugh about it. You know, oftentimes we're so serious. We want to put on this perfect front, and we really don't have to have time to enjoy life. And with my kids, you know, we can laugh out in public, but at home it was like, look, get your work done.
Okay.
You know, get this up, do this. It was always dictator style because I felt like I had to be all things to all people. So if they came over, the house should be clean. If this was going on, this should be done. So I really didn't have time to really embrace and enjoy some things because, you know, I wasn't in that spirit myself. I was numb about a lot of things, and I was more goal oriented about what needed to be done rather than the experience, you know. And then the last thing is your energy. So while I was like, oh, my time is when my kids are asleep, I really wasn't being energized at that time. I was falling asleep with books in my lap, with my clothes on, right? All these different things where I didn't get good rest, but they slept well. They were
ready to go in the morning.
Yeah. And I'm already depleted. So we're learning how to manage those things really helped me to be in a place of one, taking accountability. Those are areas that I just couldn't dictate to other people. I had to be responsible for that myself. And so many years, I just sat that on a shelf, you know, came to it a little, you know, every once in a while, but it was not how I lived my days on a regular basis. And I suffered in the process. Are you there? So I don't know what is going on with Lauren, but the show goes on. So I don't know. He's frozen. So I don't know what happened. But so now I would say when it comes to being able to have a guideline, your own GPS, I think it's important to realize that as long as you recognize the power that you have to be able to guide yourself, that is what is important. We have to recognize that there is no superhero that's going to come and get us. So I love these things. You know, my son got me this cup. It says, not all superheroes wear capes, right? Because we have to be our superhero, right? When you're going through challenges and having a rough time, there is nobody out there to rescue you. And I think that was the lesson that I had to learn. I had to be my own hero. Now, with being your own hero, it's not a matter of feeling like you have to be perfect. You know, if you think about Superman, for example, we can identify with him. His nemesis, or the issue that would stop him from being great, was his kryptonite, right? And all of us have some kind of kryptonite. It could be, you know, I don't know. We all got a number of things, but when you are in your zone of following your skill set or walking in your gifts, that is going to open up so many opportunities for you, but realizing that it is for the moment, right? We don't live in our gifts 24/7. It would be great. You know, Superman was not Superman 24/7. Superman went into his little phone booth or whatever and changed for the job that he had to do. And so when we're our own cheerleaders, we realize that we have to cheer when it's time to show up and cheer, you know, whenever that is. It's not going to be all day, every day. You know, the cheerleaders are, you know, usually they go to the game, they cheer, the game is over, they go on about their different ways. You know, the athlete, when the athletes in practice, the cheerleaders aren't there. When the athlete is on the bench, you know, doing certain things, learning techniques and taking classes in order to get better at their craft, the cheerleaders aren't there. The cheerleaders are there for the game. And so that is when we have to show up, and we have to be cognizant of what it is that we are designed to do at that moment. And then we go accordingly. So I think that a lot of times we limit our ability to have an impact because we think that we have to be perfect in all areas. And just as I noticed this morning when we were having these issues where Lauren couldn't hear me, I was like, hey, I'm not technical. And I didn't feel bad about it. Before, I might have been like, oh my goodness, what can I do? Trying to be in a lane that I'm not well versed in.
Good carry, girl. Good. No, I thought it was the contractors because they forever unplugging stuff. But I ran up there. We didn't touch nothing. We didn't touch it. Right. So sorry.
I said, hey, the show goes on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Thank you. So okay. So I'm sure you dropped some nuggets. LaChelle, I just want to say this because time's almost up, and it's just I'm in amazement of how you're just so zen-like, and I believe that's everything is about everything. That's one of the litmus tests of knowing that within your purpose is that everything about what you're living, the good, bad, and the ugly, always leaves some element of the experience with the stamp more, wanting more, more people to help, more headaches, more sleepless nights. But that is what keeps us moving forward and not standing still. It's those negative forces. I call it Cletus. Some people call it the devil, whatever. I don't, when I lose my temper at something, it is people think I have to tell people this. I'm not mad at you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to that entity I see standing over in the corner behind you. I don't see it. That's what I talk to. You better go on somewhere and quit playing. Get on up out of here.
Right.
It's 2 a.m. The lights are on. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So that's how that works. And I just, I learned so much from you just from your zen-like tone. You've mastered it. You see, and I believe all those things that happened with all those 15 children and 100 million different GPS grids that lay over each one of them.
Yeah.
Because they're their own person.
Amen. Definitely.
There's no other way you could master the things that you have mastered in your journey, and that and you've done it so the rest of us can get that. Because if we could have just a little bit of what you use to keep it real and keep it what it needs to be, how much better could our little uncluttered lives be, comparatively speaking, of course.
Well, I think, you brought up a great point. And I think, I really want to leave this with people is that, it's not about us being perfect. I learned early in my career with being a coach that the gentleman said that people will put you on a pedestal, but you don't have to stay there. If you think about it, with the pedestal, you are separated from the people. Nobody can resonate to what you're saying. You're talking down to them. You're not even on their level. But if you learn to get on their level and recognize that you are there to be a guide, to teach them, everybody knows they got their own GPS. It's not for me to try to make them a mirror of who I am. It's for me to help bring their greatness out and build their confidence to walk in what they know is right. So I think a lot of us shy away from opportunities to have an impact because we think, oh man, I can't. I mean, if you see my desk right now, I write on Post-it notes, envelopes. I mean, it's paper everywhere, right? But if I let that stop me, you can't see that right now. You only know about it because I told you. And so I think we let some of these things that are little stop us from being great. And everybody has a thing that they do that is not, that they don't want to share, but I think we need to get out of that. The whole thing of feeling we have to be perfect.
Absolutely right. Now, I know there's some of you out there that could benefit from some quality time, say a virtual coffee, if you will, with LaChelle, just to talk it out. Scrolling along the bottom is her Calendly link. You can find that. And for other things, go to LaChelleAdkins.com. Now, when I had to go out and come back in, it took something happened to all my little stuff, but I'm going to put her website, LaChelleAdkins.com, into the comment section immediately upon the conclusion of today's show. And LaChelle, man, we need a 90-minute special with you.
You're so sweet.
Yeah, 60 just ain't enough. It really isn't. But as always, man, you really have the goods. I'm not kidding you. You give me so much. You pour so much into me every time we come together. So I want to thank you for that and for being that stellar example. Next time we get you here, I want to catch up on all the kids because you've got all kinds of talent in there. I mean, I thought the Jacksons had something. Come on now, right? So I am so excited, and man, I know you've got so much on your plate, but one of these years we want you to come to the Power of We Symposium. Yeah, for real.
You're doing great things, and I really, I love the fact that you are really thinking about the youth because so often we overlook them, and they have greatness. From a young age. Just imagine if you knew what you know about yourself.
Oh,
back then you'd be dangerous.
Sure would.
Yeah,
nobody was telling me. And I had very few people that I could tell
exactly
anything. And so that is why it's so important to me today. It's my way of having grandchildren.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Well, you can adopt some of mine too. So
I'm good. No, ma'am. Well, I love being Uncle Lauren. I really do. We love that. But LaChelle, again, what a blessing. You're welcome here anytime. Keep doing what you're doing. And you all out there, that goes for you too. It's been a wonderful week, hasn't it? Listen, I want you to stay safe this weekend, be blessed, and be the blessing every single moment of every single day. I will see you all, God willing, Monday morning out on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central for our next episode of Bathrobe Moment. Thanks again, LaChelle, and thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Lauren. Right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How explicit do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind.